So we need to bring in our image. So we're going to go File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to grab some stock photos which I used. Now this is a little bit smaller than our canvas, but we're just going to have to live with it and scale it up a bit. So I'm just holding down Shift to constrain my proportions and just dragging it so it fits the image. I want to get as much of it in as possible, so I'm not really losing more resolution than I have to. I'm just going to leave it about there. Then I'm going to click the OK, or I can hit the Enter key on my keyboard just to place it down there. Then we need to throw another layer on top of it. So we're going to hit the layer button, throws up a new blank layer, and we're going to select the clone stamp tool. Over here, clone stamp tool. Now this needs to be set to sample current and below. Because we're working on a new layer, we need it current and below, but you can set it to the current layer, which is layer on, or all the layers. It just kind of describes where you're sampling from. Oops. He says handily deleting his layer. Now I'm setting this to use a hard edged brush, so I get a nice crisp selection, and I'm just going to set it up about central and just left click on it. Current and below. Oh, I need to press Alt to select a sample area, then I can left click it. It's usually used for kind of painting out areas and hiding things, this brush, but it's a nice use for it. So I'm going to hit the move tool, which, as the thing demonstrates, helps you move things around. So if we've now got a section, we can drag it around anywhere we like. I'm going to scale this up a bit to make it contrast a little bit more, so we can actually see we've got something going on. Also, can you see the pink smart guides? I'm just going to drag it so we've got it kind of centralized on the image. Now looking at it, it's very, very hard to see what I've done. So I'm going to OK this, and I'm going to mess around with the levels on the background to change the contrast a little bit, or the levels. So I'm just going to click on levels for the suit and just play around with these a little bit, maybe just to darken down the background image. That's how I play with it, see, until it looks a little bit more contrasty. That's quite nice. I might do the same trick with the actual new layer as well, see what that does. Actually, let's try the exposure on this one. Ooh. Now, at the moment, you can see it's adjusting both layers. If we click this little button here, then it's only adjusting the layer next to it. Something like that is doing it, so it's kind of standing out and contrasting from the image, so we can actually see we've moved it around and made it look a bit nicer. Next we need to throw some text on the top of it, so I'm going to select the text tool, the horizontal type tool. Let's just make my font a little bit bigger. We'll go with that. What font should we use? You've got a whole range of fonts which are selectable here, from the nice to the nasty. Let's try that one. Now I'm just checking where on the top with our text, so we can see where it's going. And do I want to? We'll try it in black. We can always change the colour later. Sharp. Sharp dressed. Let's use the move tool to just shuffle this around a bit. and we're going to hold shift and drag it from a corner just to make it a bit bigger, which is fine to do while we haven't rasterized the text, so we can mess around with it without it becoming pixely and stuff. I'm just going to center it using the smart guides. That looks okay. And I want to use a different font for the word man. So let's OK that to make the selection. Let's click the text tool again, and let's type in man. Now let's drag that and make it bigger. So I'm holding down shift again on the corner, so we get something like that. I'm just using the smart guides again to just align it. We can use the arrow keys to kind of move it a little bit more gradually. Play around with it until it looks right. Now, I don't really like that font with it, so I'm going to try a different font. So I'm just going to apply the transformation, left click and drag to select the text, and we can actually go through this and see what looks okay. I want something interesting, but not too interesting. Ooh. See, too interesting. That's quite nice. I'm going to use that. So once I'm happy with the font, I can click the OK button or enter, and hey presto. Now I'm just wondering about the colours here, because we've gone with white but it's blending in. I think we can click on here to change the colour of it, although I could be wrong. I'm just going to try and select a slightly blue colour from the suit. I'm completely wrong. Let's select the man and do it that way. See, where we go. You've got the colour picker where you can pick all the colours by dragging around, but as soon as you come off the colour picker, you use the ink dropper tool, so we can match it up to his skin or anything. It's quite nice to pull a colour which is being used somewhere else in the image. It kind of gives it some consistency. That's okay. Quite liking that. Right, let's make the circle a bit more interesting. So I'm going over to its layer, double clicking on that to bring up the layer styles. Now what I used on the other one was outer glow. So I just selected that and it puts, like, as the name implies, an outer glow. We've got all these blend styles we can mess with and see what looks better or worse. Ooh, some of those are horrible. That's quite interesting. Exclusion. Yeah, a lot like going to the opticians. There's an element of, yeah, go better, worse, until you get something that you actually like. See, some of that's not really liking that at all. Yeah, that's doing it. So there we've got a sharp dressed man cover.